In 2001, Criterion Games, who I guess were most famous for Trick Style for the Dreamcast, they put out this racing game called Burnout. And in doing so, they created probably my favorite racing game series ever, because the focus of the Burnout games is not to get to the finish line in first place. It's to get to the finish line in first place while ramming all the other cars off the road as quickly and as violently as possible. And you're rewarded for doing that by getting turbo that lets you get to the finish line first. And it's a beautiful, elegant system, and I love it so much. And they even had this like puzzle mode basically, where it's like, here's an intersection, go launch your car at this intersection and try to create as much damage as possible. As much like monetary damage. It's like, here's how many dollars it would take to fix what you just did. And that went on for a while, and it was awesome. And then Paradise came out, and that's kind of weird because they got rid of that thing I just talked about, and they made it worse. And they put it in an open world, so you had to drive to places for no reason. And some people really like it. I don't know, it's okay. But anyway, it's an amazing series. What happened after Paradise was that they brought Criterion on to work on the Need for Speed series. And the Need for Speed series kind of has a bad reputation now because there are a ton of bad Need for Speed games. But the first one that Criterion worked on, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, is like perfection. This is like the arcade racing game as far as I'm concerned, because it's basically Burnout. At its core, this is just like high speed, extremely easy to control racing action where you get rewarded for smashing into other cars and driving them off the road. Okay, so the concept is completely ridiculous. You are playing both sides of this conflict that is happening in this fictional county in California. You play as... Okay, so it's amazing because this county has like the most insane police force in the world, because the county is full of speeders, speed freaks. There's always people always trying to be the fastest person in this county. And you can be one of those people, or you can be the cops who are chasing after those people. And because the main crime, I guess, in this county is driving extremely fast, the cops also have like sports cars. So you've got like Porsches, like Porsche police cars driving after like souped up like sports cars. It's amazing. It makes absolutely no sense, but it's fun. It's a fun video game. So the genius part of the campaign is that it's not two separate campaigns. It's, here's a map and there are speed events and there are cop events basically. And the reason why that's genius is because you're getting, as you go through these campaigns, you get tools that assist you in either taking out cops if you're one of the speeders, or taking out the speeders if you're one of the cops. And it would have been really lame if you, like, say you did the speeder campaign first, and you got to the end and you had all these crazy tools, and then you start the cop campaign and it kicks you back and you're like, okay, you've got, spike strips. That's it. But instead, what they do is you'll be going through as long as you play both campaigns at the same time, which there's no reason not to. So you'll get to a race in the speeder campaign where it's like the cops are calling in like helicopters and stuff on you, and the helicopters are dropping spike strips, and it's like chaos. And you're like, man, this is awesome. And then you go to the cop side, and it's like, okay, here's how you call in a helicopter. And all of a sudden, you can do that to the other people. And it's amazing. And it's such a perfect system. And then the other, the main thing this game did, you have to remember this game came out in 2010. So what it does is, as you play online, say, I don't actually have anybody on my Xbox friends list who plays this game, so I can't really show off this feature. And it's not like there are still people playing it online, but the idea is, as you race, it'll stack your time on each event against your friends. And what it will actually do is recommend you events where you can improve or where you haven't raced yet, so that you can kind of build out this race log for yourself and be like, I'm the best. We kind of take that for granted now because that's in most games, but back then it was kind of a crazy thing. And a bunch of other games did it at around the same time, but this is kind of one of the games that popularized this idea. And then just the racing it just feels so good because it has that thing where, you know, this is an arcade style racing game, so it has the drifting mechanic where you just kind of tap the brake, tap the left trigger, and all of a sudden you kind of shift into drift mode. And then you can just kind of steer around corners, and you have the thing where if you drive on the wrong side of the road, it builds up turbo, and you can use that, and it runs super smooth. It looks fantastic. Came out on the last generation of consoles, but it still looks good today. The environments are fun to drive around in. They're very varied because they kind of take a ton of liberties with it because it's like one county in California, but you got like redwood forests, you've got like the seaside, like the winding roads, you've got desert. Every aspect of this game is just like fantastic. The only real issue I have with it is, I have two issues. One is the progression of unlocking cars and all that doesn't feel very good because you have like 20 ranks in each discipline. You've got, I'm going to be rank 20 criminal, or I'm going to be rank 20 policeman or woman. And the way the things unlock isn't really tied well into that progression because you're unlocking things within a rank, which I get why they would do that. It makes it more fun where it's not like, I don't want to get from rank 8 to 9. That's going to take forever. But it just doesn't ever feel like the progression matters because you'll just do a race and it'll be like, okay, you unlocked a new car, but you can't use that car in every event. And it's just kind of like, do I need to buy this car? Is this just a car I have now? And the other problem I have is that, I guess this is where the auto log comes in, where it would be like recommending you races and stuff. But without that system in place, really, I never felt like I had much motivation to keep racing, other than the fact that it's a ton of fun to race. But it's not like there's this story progression or anything. It's just like, here's a bunch of races you can do, and they all just kind of take 3 minutes and go. And it's fun. One thing I really, really like is that they kind of create events around these races, and then they kind of push you into the event mid-race. So it'd be like you launch into a race and it shows like a little cutscene, and then the camera kind of zooms in and you're one of the cars and it's already going. You're already chasing this person. It kind of feels like all these little vignettes that you get to play through, and it's awesome. And it's just, I can't play it for a long time because it's just like there's more and more races and they're not that different. But man, it's just it's so much fun. So there you go, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. Probably one of my favorite racing games of all time.